good, YouTube? We back with another video. 5 in the cut. If y'all don't know me, I'm 5. I'm an educational and financial content creator, and I do just share my knowledge and advice on areas and topics. So boom, as y'all can see in the title, today when we're talking about, you gotta take that risk. You know, time not waiting on anybody. You feel me? And you really do have to take that risk, because at the end of the day, bro, none of us really know the future we got. None of us know if we're gonna see tomorrow, you know what I mean? That's why you gotta really take those risks, because if you play it safe, you're gonna get safe outcomes. But if you take that risk, that's the only time where you might really hit big, you feel me? But when you play it safe, you're not gonna hit it big. I feel like things take time, obviously, but playing it safe is not gonna get you to where you wanna go, you know? You gotta take the risk, you gotta put yourself out there, you know? You gotta do things that you don't feel like doing, things that make you uncomfortable. Because the things that make you uncomfortable, those are the things that's gonna get you to where you gotta be. When you're just sitting around, you're being complacent, and you're not moving with a sense of urgency, you feel me? You're playing it safe, you know? Like, for example, like the 9 to 5, like, yeah, I know most of us probably got jobs and shit, but you're really playing it safe by just clocking in, then coming home and not putting work into yourself. Like I was saying last video, how can you put 8 hours into a job, but when you get home, you can't put 8 hours into yourself, you know? Outside of all the distractions, outside of the social media, outside of spending time with friends, and just outside of, like, you know, all the bullshit, all the distractions, you know? We gotta really take that time and put it for ourselves. Because if we don't, we're just playing it safe and we're just going through the motions, you know? And when you're just going through the motions, bro, like, you just go to work, clock in, you leave, you know? You're not doing anything different. You're not meeting anybody new. You're just going through the motions. That's why it's critical that you spend the time outside of work focusing on yourself, because then eventually you can leverage that and you can leave your job, you know? It's not impossible leaving your job. Plenty of people have done it, you know? I haven't left my job yet, but deep down I know that shit possible, you feel me? It's only a matter of time, and that's how you gotta think, you feel me? Don't be complacent and rely on that job, because that's not taking the risk. You gotta take the risk, especially if you're young. Like, I'm 20, you feel me? I can take the risk. I don't got no kids or anything like that, like I got rent, car insurance and shit, but like, I could bounce it back if that shit goes unpaid, you know? That's what I'm saying. Like, the younger you are, or not even, it don't even matter about your age, but the less responsibilities you have, the more risk you can take. That's what I'm saying. Like, the younger you are, you have to start now. Yeah, you might not be perfect, it might not be how you want it to be, but over time you're gonna get better, and that's really all that matters. But start right now, take the risk, you feel me? If you're uncomfortable, just fucking do it, you know? You're not gonna really, like, it's not really gonna be a good time to really ever start anything. You just gotta really put yourself in there, you feel me? Burn the boats, bro. Throw yourself into that water, bro. You can't swim, you gotta throw yourself in there. You're gonna learn, you feel me? And that's really all this shit about, bro. But yeah, man, you don't got no kids, you live with your parents, you young, you feel me? Low bills. You can take hella risks. You're gonna fail, that's okay. Fail as many times as you can, because each time you fail, it's a learning lesson. You're learning from each failure that you went through, you know? And it's not about competing with everybody else, bro. Compete with the man you were yesterday, you know? Get better, bro. How can you be better today? That's what really matters, man. All that other shit don't matter. As long as you know what you're doing, you're good. But you really do want to take the risk, bro, because certain opportunities you have now, you won't have later, you know? Like, say right now I got no kids, you feel me? It's just me and my cousin, for real, bro. If I had kids, if I had hella bills to pay, I had to take care of people, it would be much harder for me to take risks. It would be much harder for me to just move out of my hometown, or it would be much harder for me to just start a business, blow all my money, fuck up, you know? because I got people to take care of. But when you're so young, it's like, I can afford to take that risk. What's going to really happen? The worst thing that can really ever happen to you is you die, you know? Yeah, you can go bankrupt, you can go homeless, you can go hungry, you can get locked up. But at the end of the day, as long as we got life, we haven't really lost. You know, that's a blessing in of itself. Always thank God for, you know, allowing you to live, allowing you to see another day, because it's really not promised. Thank God for what you got. You gotta have a life of abundance, you know? Just because I don't got necessarily what I want doesn't mean that my life is necessarily bad, you know? I feel like God gives us everything we need, and anything that we do want, it will come with time. And, you know, you just gotta stay patient and believe in God. Like, believe that He put in the work in, and believe in yourself that you can put the work in and get there, you know? It's not really about, you know, it's not really about just going through the motions, man. You gotta really believe this shit with all your heart. Take the risk and really just go all in, man. You feel me? Deep down, like, you don't really know if you're gonna win, but you gotta believe it, you know? Believe it so much that it's your reality, you know? And never, like, obviously you're gonna doubt yourself, bro. You're gonna think you can't do it at times. You're gonna question what you're doing. Am I taking the right path? Am I around the right people? Am I where I should be? But it's all about life, you know? It's all about the journey. You feel me? Don't get too caught up in the rewards and what you get from doing all the work, you know? Fall in love with the process, fall in love with the journey, because when you look back on it, when we're old, right? When we're old, we're gonna look back on it and be like, damn, you know, I really put myself through so much work, and now I am where I am because I went through all that pain, you know? Without pain, there's no improvement. Pain, that's what allows you to grow, you know? The more pain you go through, the better. It's gonna make you more of a man, you know? You're gonna be able to go through whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like, back in times, like, men really used to go to war. You feel me? At like 18, 16, he was going to war. You feel me? And it's like, when you go to war at 18, you come back, right? All this shit we face now, it's like, what is that? You can get through it, bro. Like, niggas was going to war. You feel me? They was actually going to war, coming back, fighting. You feel me? You gotta have that mentality, like, yeah, I can get through this shit. That's what I'm saying. The more pain you go through, the more shit you can go through as a man, as a person. It's not even about being a man or a woman or anything like that, but the more pain you go through, the stronger you become, the more wiser you become, the more things you learn. That's all that matters. You're gonna fail, but you're gonna learn in the process. So did you really fail? You know? So, key tips, take the risk, you feel me? Don't wait, do it now, you feel me? You might not know exactly what you're doing or how to exactly do it, but make one small step towards that, make one small step in that direction.